Hi there! In this video we're going to talk about the startups and we're going to discuss and analyze the basic vocabulary that you need in order to be able to speak about your startup company, for example. And at the end of this video I will provide you with an example of how you can actually present your company, so this can also serve you as a template. To start with, I'd like to admit that there are two ways to say about a startup. So basically the first one is a startup, but also you can say a startup company. Important in here is to pronounce it correctly, and I mean the word company. It's not company, company. And we also prepared the whole video dedicated to some tips in terms of pronunciation of certain words, and company is one of them. If you are interested in learning more and if you're interested in avoiding some typical mistakes that a lot of IT specialists and entrepreneurs make in terms of pronunciation, you can check out this video, and the link to it will be in the description of this video below. So a startup company is a company at its early stages. A startup company is meant to grow and scale very quickly. To grow – розвиватися, to scale – масштабуватися. What is the difference between a startup company and a small business? Well, actually, as I said, a startup company at some point is meant to be no longer just a small business, a startup company. It is meant to scale and grow, whereby a small business can remain the same for years because its founders or owners are totally okay with the current state of the, for example, bakery or any other shop or online shop, whatever. And startup companies are normally the ones that create something new, so they are up to some innovation, and they don't have necessarily to be connected to tech industry. Please pay attention here that tech is pronounced exactly this way because technology and tech, this is how they pronounce it in English, compared to technology that some people say. Please pay attention that this is wrong. Startups typically are meant to solve some problem, and startup founders, co-founders, the whole team is searching for a product or market fit. This combination is normally used in Ukrainian or Russian as it is in English. It's not even translated, but to give you better understanding what it means, I can try to translate it. It's продукт, здатний задовольнити ринок. Lately in Facebook there was one picture going viral. A lot of people were sharing it. You can check it out, it's quite funny, and it shows the whole story about product and market fit and how difficult sometimes it is to create one, to come up with some solution or some idea. So please analyze if it's applicable to your company as well. A startup company and its team normally develop some product, service, a platform, and to do so they have to create a minimum viable product or MVP. It is also used in Ukrainian just as MVP. Normally people understand what it means and they do not translate it, but just in case, мінімально життєздатний продукт, MVP. MVP is meant to solve some problem or a need that exists. Please pay special attention here that in order to say вирішити проблему, you need to say to solve a problem, not to decide a problem. This is one of the typical mistakes as well, because if you analyze it, well, to decide means вирішувати, but it means to make a decision, приймати рішення. В той час, як вирішувати якусь проблему, це зовсім інша справа, and you need to say in here to solve a problem. One more time. To solve a problem, вирішувати проблему. To decide, to make decision, приймати якесь рішення. After an MVP is released and the market can actually use it, the startup team can actually get some feedback from its potential customers and modify the product. To do so, they have to brainstorm. To brainstorm, влаштовувати мозковий штурм, but also it can serve as a noun, it can be a brainstorm, мозковий штурм. When you need to talk about startups, one of the most important phrases that you need to know is to come up with some solution, with some plan, придумати якесь рішення або план. People who stand behind developing any startup company are founders or co-founders of a startup company. What they do in terms of developing and growing and scaling their company, they run a startup company. To run a company means керувати компанією, to run a company. Also, when you are describing your company, you can say that you are a small company but a growing one, and your team consists of, for example, 2, 3, or 5 members, and people who surround you, your team, are like-minded people. For example, we are a growing startup company of like-minded people, and it helps us to come up with good solutions. The goal of any startup company is to generate profit, приносити прибуток, to generate profit. So now we're gonna practice how to tell about your startup, about your product, your team. Imagine that you got invited to some event and you have actually to represent your startup company. So you can start with, before we go any further, перш ніж ми будемо вдаватися в деталі, або дослівно перш ніж ми будемо заглиблюватись іти далі. Before we go any further, our background is, here you can tell about your education if it's important, or about your previous working experience or startup experience, whatever is applicable in this or that situation. Our background is. To summarize, you can say, so this is what we do. And then at the end you can say, thanks for having me here. Дякую за запрошення. So this is a good way to end up and to thank for getting invited to this or that event, to the TV program, radio program, whatever. Thanks for having me here. Before we go any further, I have to admit that we are a growing startup company. We have a small yet very efficient team that consists just of 2 people working full-time and 2-3 people working as freelancers who help us actually to grow our company. So basically what we do is we provide IT specialists and entrepreneurs with online courses of the English language so that they can tell the world about their products, about their company, find some partners from foreign countries and establish strong partnerships with them. We created some MVP, a couple of courses that we keep on testing and getting some feedback from our potential customers. So basically we have a 2-week long intensive course, a 2-month course, and also a 30 days course aimed at enhancing your skills in terms of grammar. Also, we develop our YouTube channel where we share information from different fields, starting with marketing or economics, ranging to managing teams and investment, and also we share some tips on learning English. So this is basically what we do. Our background is English and German philology and translation combined with international relations. Thanks for having me here. So this is the minimum vocabulary that you need to know in order to be able to speak about your startup company, about your project. By the way, if you're interested in practicing more, in nailing grammar or pronunciation and enhancing the communication skills in English, you may find out about our current courses more in the description below this video. If this video was useful for you, please hit the like button and share it with your friends. Thanks for watching this video and see you around!